So for Project One motivation, meteors can cause disasters that impact the human population, such as tsunamis, wind blasts, cratering, seismic shaking, and etc. These effects aren't just random, but influenced by the Earth's geographical and geological layout. And by analyzing meteorite data alongside geographical patterns, we can better understand how these different regions might be more vulnerable to specific types of meteorite impacts. And this insight could be valuable for improving hazard assessment and improving future planetary defense strategies. Identifying patterns in meteorite data could enhance how scientists track meteorites and may even improve predictions about where future impacts could occur. So, for our first question, we answered what is the geographical distribution of meteorite landings and are there observable clusters? Meteorite landings may not be uniformly distributed across the globe, and by mapping the latitude and longitude data, we can identify regions with higher concentrations of meteorite falls or finds. And these clusters might reveal regions with more extensive human activity or better recovery conditions, or possible correlations with geological or atmospheric conditions that favor meteorite survival and discovery. Below is our heat map of meteorite landings, and we can see the concentrations in different continents. In addition, we use the density estimation method to provide a spatial visualization of meteorite fall frequency, and this reveals patterns that are shaped not only by the impact probabilities, but also by environmental conditions and observational biases. The highest density meteorite impact zones were identified in North America and Central Europe. Another key high density zone is North Africa, particularly the Sahara Desert. And the reason why is the dry climate and minimal vegetation makes it easier to locate and preserve these meteorites, thus leading to higher numbers of discoveries. And one of the more scientifically valuable meteorite collection sites is in Antarctica, where systematic searches have made it one of the best study locations for meteorite findings, as the ice sheets provide a natural contrast for identifying meteorites. And conversely, low density regions such as tropical rainforests like the Amazon and the world's ocean exhibit a striking absence of recorded meteorites. And this is not necessarily due to a lower frequency of meteorite falls, but rather due to poor conditions. And to address this gap in future solutions, we could involve the development of ocean-based meteorite detection systems such as seafloor impact monitoring. And below is the density of meteorite landings, and we can see this through the continents on the world map. In addition, we do a graph agreement using overlay of the heat map and density to strengthen our findings and validate impact-prone regions. And this approach ensures the reinforcement of accuracy of identifying high-risk meteorite impact zones. And we can determine whether the patterns observed in one method align with those in another, and this reduces the potential for misinterpretation caused by individual method biases. And as you can see, the graph below shows an overlay of the density scatter plot and the heat map.
For question two, we explore the question of what temporal trends exist in meteorite discoveries and falls over the past century. So our analysis may reveal an increase in recorded events in recent decades, potentially due to advancements in detection technology and more systematic search efforts, and or changes in proportion of meteorites that fell or found may reveal improving observational methods. And we found that the Draconid shower of 1933 and the advancement of radio and radar technology before and during World War II is hypothesized to have aided in the increased detection of meteorite falls. The peak of meteorite discoveries could be attributed to government and privately funded expeditions and special projects towards the end of the 1970s. We hypothesized two scenarios for how the Draconid meteor shower could have attributed to increased meteor fall. While most of the debris during the meteor shower burns up before reaching Earth, there are rare cases where larger pieces could have survived and reached Earth's surfaces. Due to the high volume of meteors, the likelihood of larger sized debris making it past Earth's atmosphere increases. Another speculated possibility of increased meteor falls during this period of time could be due to observing a fall but recovering a meteorite that was not a result of the shower. It is important to note that the number of meteorites in the graph, which was about 16, was a result of omitting meteorites that did not contain a geographic location, which could explain an observed but not recovered meteor. The second peak in the graph occurred around 1950s. This was post World War II, a time when radar and radio technology was greatly advanced in research. While radar and radio technology was not developed for the purpose of meteor tracking, it laid the foundation for future development. As for the peak in meteorite discoveries, on August of 1975, the Viking project was launched, and the primary objective of the mission was to obtain high-resolution images of the Martian surface, which characterized the structure and composition of Mars. This discovery helped scientists better identify Martian meteorites on Earth by comparing chemical composition and geological features, which scientists can then confirm the meteorite's origins. In addition, there was mass government-funded expeditions around 1976 where nearly 42,000 of meteorites were discovered in Antarctica. Some 14,000 meteorites were discovered in the Saharan desert by nomads and private collectors around early to mid 1900s, which reinforced some of the conclusions from question 1.
So for our third question, we answer how do meteor mass distributions vary across different fall statuses? The datasets reclass and fall features provide an opportunity to explore whether certain meteorite types tend to have larger masses or if there are differences between meteorites that were observed falling and those that were found later. And some of these aspects include assessing if specific meteorite classes show distinct mass distributions and or evaluating whether meteorites that fell differ in mass from those that were found, which might reflect observational biases. So we use the mass versus latitude graph to show this, and this graph follows a right-skewed distribution, meaning most recorded meteorites are relatively small, with only a few large mass outliers. And our graph shows that there is no clear correlation between latitude and mass, suggesting that mass distribution may be independent of impact location. In addition, meteorite landings are denser in mid-latitudes, around 25 to 50 degrees in both hemispheres, which may reflect favorable conditions for discovery rather than actual impact zones. And near equatorial latitudes show that very few meteorites are recorded, and this is likely due to oceans, dense forests, and challenging recovery conditions rather than an actual lower impact rate. In addition, extreme latitudes also show reduced meteorite discoveries, except for Antarctica, which has targeted meteorite recovery programs. And this analysis reveals that meteorite discoveries are not evenly distributed and that several biases affect the reported data, such as geographical biases and human observational biases. And below is the mass versus latitude graph, which shows the data points distributed among the mass and the latitude. In addition, we have a distribution of meteorite masses shown in the form of a histogram, which follows a right-skewed distribution, meaning most meteorites are small and few large outliers exist, which is similar to the mass versus latitude. And in addition, the vast majority of meteorites that reach Earth are small and harmless, meaning the likelihood of catastrophic events remain low. However, the existence of high mass meteorites presents a significant concern. And below, we see the distribution of meteorite masses in the form of a histogram.
So the analysis of meteorite landings revealed that detection is heavily influenced by geographic and observational biases. Future efforts should prioritize improving detection in underrepresented areas, applying multi-method validation and enhancing predictive models to mitigate potential meteorite threats. From our analysis, we came up with 3 calls to action. One was to fund expeditions to high potential, low explored regions, such as arid or ice-covered regions. Focus, meaning that we focus meteorite recovery missions on regions with similar climates to Northwest Africa and or Antarctica. And we should also research ocean-based detection systems and focus on unique composition of environments for underrepresented areas such as equatorial zones, dense forests, and or ocean regions.